what's up, family? Yeah, we're gonna do this video here. We're gonna title this "The Corny Guy." You know what I'm talking about? We be mentioning something. Y'all seen that video all out there with Michael B. Jordan? You know, got the new movie Creed coming out, and how disrespectful the girl that was interviewing her. See how she tried to so-called diss him? Liver shot, love that liver shot. You know, boom, boom, boom. But anyway, how disrespectful. You see how that girl, she tried to say something to relate to him. She said, oh, I got Michael B. Jordan here. You know, me and him got history. We go back. We know each other back from Chad and Newark. See, I'm originally from New Jersey. Elizabeth, New Jersey, right next to Newark. But anyway, how she said, we got history. We go back to Chad and Newark, right? And if you notice, when she was talking to him, Michael B. Jordan, if you ever watch any of his interviews and stuff, he's a very approachable guy. Seems like a genuine, good, classy dude. I would love to meet someone like him. He seems normally, naturally a good dude, right? But meanwhile, I love the way he responded the whole time. You look at the way his face he had towards her, he was like, and he's never like that. Because he realized who this girl was. When she said, oh, we go back to chat, he said, yeah, I remember you. You was the girl who said I was a corny guy, right? I was a corny guy back in school, right? Just like you and that actress Eva, who's a horrible actress. But anyway, talking about, yeah, he's a good corny guy. Yeah, his career is way more advanced than y'all. See, it's amazing how these are the same people who love to try to sneak diss somebody. Talking about the corny guy. But, oh, so let me guess, the guy that y'all find attractive is the trendy guy, right? Because that's the silliness with a lot of females out here. They so horrible with choosing a mate. They want the guy who's hip. You know who the guy that's hip? You know what's that guy? That's the guy that's normally the star football player in high school, the star basketball player, right? You know, the guy that gets high, that's on drugs, that go to the party, get drunk, wilding out, always in trouble. See, that's the hip guy. He's the trendy guy. The trendy guy is whatever's going on now. He got the latest gear, this and that, right? But guess what? Show me what the trendy guy doing 10, 15, 20 years after high school. More than likely, you know what the trendy guy doing? 3, 4, 5 kids by multiple different women. Bad credit, living in adverse circumstances, still living with family, don't have nothing really going for himself. But remember the corny guy that you thought was a square? Oh, the corny guy, y'all might have been his motivation to inspire him to be even greater. So keep with the nonsense talking about the corny guy, but now you want to be friends with the corny guy years later. And that guy that was so trendy when you was in school, he ain't trendy no more. See, so it goes back to stuff that your parents told you. You just be you. Don't try to be no one else. Because when you're trying to be someone else, that's when you're going to find yourself by yourself. Because nobody likes a copycat. You're trying to be around somebody who you think is trendy. You're trying to dress like them. You're trying to act like them. Before you know it, you start to sound like them. Hey, you know what I'll tell you the greatest thing about you is just that, you. Be you. Don't try to be no one else. Because when you're you, people respect the fact that you've always been a genuine person. You never tried to act like something or someone else that you wasn't. See, that's something to respect. Let me tell you something else about the corny guy. Or like, remember the old song by Huey Lewis and the News? It's hip to be square, right? See, that's what he was talking about. You know what? When you're a square, like myself, and you're the corny guy, yeah, you girls thought we was corny when we was younger. But guess what? The corny guy paid his bills on time. We pay our bills on time. We take care of our family. We don't got to brag about taking care of our family. We take care of responsibilities the way older men that was guidance to us growing up, they taught us to do so. We don't brag about stuff that we know is a given, that is responsible things to do. We don't brag about silly things like, yo, I'll do this and I'll do that. There's nothing to brag about. These are responsible things responsible adults are supposed to do. Yeah, I'm the corny guy. Let me give you something else about the corny guy. I'm gonna give you a personal story of myself. I remember when I was about 6 years old, about the 6th grade. This touched on a good friend of mine back in the days named Bo. He could validate this story. I remember we all went to go play baseball at this school called Lafayette, blocks and blocks and blocks away from where we lived. And when we, on a hot day, when we was all finished playing baseball, because we knocked all the balls over, roofs and all that, we had no balls. When we all walked all the way back home, when we got close to the house, we stopped at the local corner store on the corner of Catherine and Florida. When we stopped at the local store, everybody, we all went in the store. Everybody, back then we was kids. We had 35 cents, 25 cents. Maybe this guy had 55 cents, but we all had a little chump change, right? So everybody went in the store. This guy bought a bag of potato chips. This guy bought a bunch of now ladies. This guy here bought the 25. Remember the quarter waters? This guy bought the quarter waters and some Tootsie Rolls. And this guy here bought some chips and a honey bun. You know what I'm saying? Whoever had a little bit extra money. Me, I was never trying to do what everybody else do. Like I said, my dude Bo could validate this story. I remember he brought it up many years later and we laughed about it. So anyway, as I watched what everybody else was doing, this is who I always been. I always been an original. I never tried to do what everybody else do. When I see what everybody else doing, I spitefully go, I'm gonna do something different. It reminds me of Earl Nightingale, like he said the statement. If you see a great deal of what everybody else is doing, I'm pretty sure I can tell you, if you choose to do just the opposite, you can almost guarantee success. And I can almost guarantee you'll never make another mistake in life. Don't go along with what everybody else is doing. But let's get back to the story. When everybody, we was all tired and thirsty, bought a bunch of candy, I had honestly, as a little kid, what was I saying? I was 11 years old at the time, maybe 12. When everybody else bought candy, I took my little 50 cent and I said to the guy, you remember in the store how they had the countertop in the back, got the chips and got all this candy and all this. Then they got the area where you get the lunch meat and all that stuff. I looked in the glass thing for the lunch meat and I said, sir, how much for that tomato? See? Like I said, once again, for the third time, my dude Bo could validate this story. I said, how much for the tomato? He told me what the tomato was. What was it, 30 cents or whatever? I said, yeah, let me have a tomato. I took a tomato, and I waited till I got outside where everybody else had their candy and their potato chips, and I took my tomato, and I was like, and everybody laughed at me that day. Everybody said, man, this guy eating a tomato. Man, everybody, and I remember my dude Bo, fourth time mentioning him. I remember he said, yo, you see this guy? Everybody went in the store and bought candy, potato chips, a honey bun, and this guy come out with a tomato. Man, this guy, he a trick, man, he crazy. Nah, I was always being me, because that's all I know how to be. As I said earlier in the video, the greatest thing about you is being you. Don't try to be like nobody else. That's the worst mistake you can make, trying to be like somebody else. But I had to mention that Michael B. Jordan thing because I remember a lot of girls in high school and all that. Yeah, they always said I was the corny guy. I was the guy, oh, he don't get high. He don't get drunk. He ain't in trouble. He ain't always in some nonsense. Isn't that crazy? Do you know people actually call me a liar when I say I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs? Isn't that ironic? That I'm telling you I don't know, have I ever, and Joe would say I'm lying. You tell me how screwed up in the mind that is. That you only like it when a guy's getting high, drunk, and screwing up his life? Bad credit. A lot of those guys that you thought was hit back then, look at them now. Where they at now? Working at the local city hall, working on local jobs in the local town where they live, never been nowhere. But this was a popular guy in school, wasn't it? Guy screwed his life up, didn't he? Multiple kids by multiple women. This ain't to diss that person, but it is to make an awareness to a lot of you women out there. Let's go with a lot of the older women, because the older women can school y'all. They can give you guidance. When you study dissing that guy that you calling him corny, that's going to be more than likely the guy that's going to grow up and be successful. That guy that you think is hit because he's trendy, whatever's the newest clothes that's out, he got them. Whatever's popping, he's at the party, starting a fight, he getting high, he getting drunk. You think he trendy. That's going to be the guy that's going to be a bum later in life. There's a high probability of both scenarios. The guy that's trendy in high school, more than likely going to be a bum later. It's not a guarantee, but more than likely going to be a bum. Because he's so worried about everything that's trendy. He can't focus on himself. He's worried about what's trendy. But the guy that you said is corny, that may very well be the motivation to make him be great. Because he's going to stay away from all the nonsense that he sees. It's so easily to get caught up into. Y'all heard the old saying, it's easy to get into trouble, but it's hard to get out of it. So, back to my dude, dedication to my dude out there, Michael B. Jordan. I love it. I love your career. I love how you stayed the corny guy, as that silly girl said. And I know you, man, Michael B. Jordan, very approachable. Like I said, very approachable. Great guy. You can tell it ain't an act with him, other than when he on a stage acting, but you can tell that's genuine who he is, a good dude. But jokers love, like them 3 girls had that interview talking about he's a corny guy. I ain't trying to diss. No, see, think about anytime someone trying to diss you, they go, hey, no disrespect, or I ain't trying to diss. But then what did your grandmother tell you when you was a kid? You ain't got nothing good to say. Don't say nothing at all. Silly jokers. Hey, on that note, peace. I love being a square. It helps motivate me to be a great man. Peace.